it's okay. Hannah, you know what time it is? You know what we're ready for? It's
time for our first semester at UA High.
It is the most wonderful time of year, and we're starting it off right.
Fear not, young Kaczynski. I am here.
Oh my goodness, all for one.
Go beyond, plus ultra.
Oh, we're gonna start this
Caution.
off right.
Shut
Hit
up,
it, guys.
you damn nerd.
Hit the music.
Murder.
So yeah, you guys can tell that we're already hyped for this, so why waste any time? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, all you wonderful people listening in? Welcome back to the General Geekery Podcast.
Woo!
This is, of course, the podcast where we love to geek out about all that we love to geek out about with no remorse.
No regrets.
And with all of the enthusiasm in the world.
Okay, Christopher Sabat.
I'm sorry.
I mean, indeed.
As always, we are your hosts. I am your resident coffee ninja by day, actor, gamer, streamer by night. I am Donald Kaczynski back once again. Joining me as always, she is our artiste extraordinaire, dice slinger magnificent, our resident video game inept, and also our best chance of getting one of us into UA High if we turn back the clock maybe about 10 years or so.
Why am I the best chance?
Because honestly, I think you would have a better chance of becoming a hero than I.
I mean, I did infiltrate your apartment building earlier today.
That is very true.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hannah Kubiak.
Hello.
And guys, it is time once again for one of my favorite times of the year for the podcast. Welcome to the first edition of Anime April 2022.
Did you just say the thirst edition?
Did I?
Yeah.
I thought I said first.
Oh.
I may have said thirst, but...
Okay, I thought you were going to say third because this is our third time doing Anime April.
It is our third time doing Anime April, but it is
Of 2022, it is the first.
It's the first episode of 2022 for Anime April. Mm-hmm. For those of you that are newer listeners, every April, for the past 3 years now, we dedicate the month of April to the art form of Japanese anime.
Yep.
In previous years, we talked about numerous different anime series. We're going to be switching it up a little bit this year. We're going to be talking about a couple of anime movies. You guys have the ability to help us choose one of those movies that we get to watch this year on a live episode. You can click the link in the description of this episode to be taken to a straw poll to help us vote for what movie you guys want us to watch this year. The voting ends April 10th. So please go check that out if you haven't already done so. Just wanted to talk about that at the beginning of this episode before we get into the meat of things. Speaking of which, Hannah?
Yes?
You have been wanting to talk about this show for so long.
I have.
I think it's only right that if the audience hasn't figured it out by now, Hannah, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about My Hero Academia. This is probably my favorite anime besides Bebop.
Honestly, considering your tastes for storytelling, I can see why.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I can definitely see why. Mm-hmm. So, a little bit of background into My Hero Academia.
I got plot stuff taken care of as usual.
Sure thing. For My Hero Academia, the first season of the show originally debuted in April of 2016. It will nearly have been roughly 6 years since the show started, and is considered by many people to be... Well, it's not considered by many people to be a shonen manga. It is a shonen series. Oh. But it has basically become, for in some people's opinion, like a placeholder for like the new generation of shonen anime. For those that are not familiar with what shonen manga and shonen anime is, I know you've made a mention to it before, Hannah.
Did I?
You were asking what the heck is a shonen?
Oh yeah, and I forgot already.
Right.
So go ahead and reiterate.
So a shonen series in manga and in anime, generally speaking, pertains to a story primarily focused on a young male audience from about 12 to 18. A lot of different elements of shonen manga that have come across is over-the-top action and hijinks that ensue throughout the story, which My Hero Academia does have.
Yeah, it's a little bit more cerebral than you originally give it credit for.
Oh yeah, definitely, especially given its like early beginnings.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have considered My Hero Academia to be like a successor for the new generation of shonen anime from like the late 90s and early 2000s into 2010s of the big three in shonen, which were Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. That was considered by many to be like the shonen trinity.
Okay.
Because these episodes, the episodes when they were animated anime would always air weekly. Ran for years. One Piece is still running on TV to this day.
Wow.
That story is still ongoing. The original Naruto series ended and continued on with its follow-up Boruto. Bleach is done, but the anime never really finished the whole story. They're making a final season for it like sometime soon. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But My Hero Academia was gaining a lot of popularity in Japanese shonen manga and eventually gained an anime adaptation back in 2016, which has exploded into probably, the second coming of like a big shonen generation.
The second coming of shonen.
It's the best way that I can describe it. For myself personally, I never really got the chance to like sit down and watch through all of it.
Scam likely calling me from Florida.
Thanks, Florida. But I never got to sit down and watch like the series like all the way through until recently when you said months and months ago, I want to do an episode on My Hero Academia, and I'm like, well, I better get on my shit then and get back on this and finish it all. It took some time, but I managed to get it in time for Anime April. So what better time to start off the month of Anime April than talking about My Hero Academia? So, Hannah,
yes,
you want to take us into synopsis stuff?
I do, yes. Okay, look at all this.
She has notes for days,
Notes for
y'all.
days. You can hear them. Hear
the paper.
Yeah. Okay. So, let us begin at the beginning. So in season 1 is mostly we get an introduction to the world, who the heroes are, who the villains are, what UA is, everything, just the world that we live in, basically. So
very important for a long running series.
Yeah. So this series, the world is that pretty much everybody now has superpowers. And they call them quirks. So not all of them are like amazing. Like some people can just kind of make little objects hover or stuff like that. But other people have like really, really powerful quirks, like being able to like cause explosions or being able to, what is one? Being able to cause explosions, being able to manipulate cement,
Melt into the floor or stuff like that.
Yep. Move through objects.
Or in the terms of one particular hero, become a big buff daddy. Go full Alex Louise Armstrong with this. Which is fitting considering the fact that they share the same voice actor in English.
They do. Okay, so our story focuses on one Izuku Midoriya, who is a quirkless boy who is about to go into high school.
Deku!
Yes, and his classmate, who we will hear more about later, his classmate calls him Deku. I'm not sure why. It might be some sort of some sort of joke that got lost in translation. Does it literally just mean deck?
I will look it up.
Maybe because, like, Bakugo, like, knocked him to the ground a lot.
Something like that.
Maybe it means like maybe it means like ground person, ground dweller. I don't know. But okay, he has always wanted to be a hero, like the number one hero, All Might, who is basically like Japanese Captain America. And we learn later that actually All Might did visit America for a while. So that's where a lot of that sort of
okay.
charisma comes from.
I found it. Who were given the name Deku, which roughly comes from the Japanese term meaning good for nothing.
Oh, okay.
To mock his overall worthlessness.
Oh my gosh, it's good for nothing.
The fuck, Bakugo? Damn!
Oh, man. Oh, okay. Well, that kind of hurt. So, Izuku still wants to attend UA, a high school for heroes. And he's very smart. Like, he notices things about different people's quirks and, takes obsessive notes, which I'm really into.
I could totally see you being very much like him.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
just overall note taking, just like observational.
Mm-hmm.
Sherlock Holmes mind, activate.
Yep. We'll call him Midoriya, because they all call each other by their last names, unless they're calling each other good for nothing.
Unless they're very familiar with each other when they call them by their first names, which is very much how Japan operates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Midoriya's classmate, Bakugo, whose power is explosion, he has a personality to fit. He's very hot-headed. He's a quick temper. He's kind of a violent little shit.
And makes some bomb-ass chicken sandwiches.
Yep. And so that his classmate he's basically got a guaranteed in to UA just because his power is so awesome, and he's just kind of been told that he's amazing all his life, kind of.
I will admit, when I first saw Bakugo early season Bakugo was one of the main reasons why I did not want to watch this series, because he was just so off-putting at the beginning.
I have stuff to say about that as well, like Bakugo's character and how much, like, for a kind of, Malfoy-like character, he became like an actual three-dimensional character. Like, he developed pretty well. So, Midoriya, in a, coincidentally, he meets All Might, and he learns that...
The number one hero, by the way.
The number one hero, All Might, yes. Learns that the hero's true form is actually really frail and deteriorating, thanks to an injury he received in a big battle years ago. So he's basically fading and putting on a brave face.
He's doing his best.
Yes. At some point, Bakugo gets attacked by a villain, and despite having no quirk, Midoriya is the only one to spring into action. And All Might witnesses this, and this kind of contributes
selflessness.
Selflessness, yeah, it contributes to one of the main sort of themes that are sort of explored in this show, which is what makes a hero, what makes someone a hero, and something that All Might noticed in Midoriya, and is that having power doesn't make you a hero. It's the desire to help people that makes you a hero.
A big thing to preface about this show in particular, like how they portray heroes, is that being a hero is basically being a celebrity. Like,
it's a job, yeah.
It's a job, but you're basically also a celebrity to the people. Mm-hmm. And at the start of the show, it shows that people view it more as entertainment than they actually do as like an actual fun thing.
Yeah, and people have kind of different reasons for becoming heroes. Like, I think one of the girls in Midoriya's class, she's in it for the money, but it's a selfless kind of, she wants to help her family.
Oh yeah, Uraka, right?
Yeah, Uraraka. And there's another student who he basically just wants to be a hero for all of the cred with the chicks that he would get.
Oh,
that guy. That pervert one. Yep.
We smack him.
Yes, we smack him. So people have different reasons for becoming heroes. And Midoriya, like, truly wants to help people. And, like, his classmate Bakugo has never really been very pleasant to him. But he runs and tries to help him anyway, even though he literally has nothing to give, we think.
Mm-hmm.
Except for his desire to help. And so All Might reveals that to Midoriya that he too was quirkless when he was younger, but somebody passed on a power to him, a power called One for All. And based on Midoriya's heroism, despite having no quirk, All Might decides to let Midoriya inherit One for All, as he inherited it from his mentor. So,
which is secretive.
Yes.
That should be prefaced like right out from the get-go. Like, this is not something that's very well known. Mm-hmm. A quirk that's able to be passed is very, very hush-hush.
Yeah. Nobody knows about it, really.
It's like a secret identity beyond the secret identity.
Yep.
It's like if Peter Parker as Spider-Man had like a different face underneath. Mm-hmm. Which would be very, very...
A face beneath your face, beneath your face.
Which would be very macabre and very in line with DC Comics.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, getting off track.
So, after a bunch of rigorous training with All Might, Midoriya goes to take the entrance exam at UA. He hasn't used the power yet. All Might gives it to him, like, right before the exam, basically. Mm-hmm. Which I'm not sure why he did it that way. I think maybe just some sort of like just throw him in head first. Like, you're ready for the power now. And so he has to like
storyhood drama, trial by fire.
So he has to like consume some of his DNA, which he gives him a hair, and he has to eat the hair.
God dang it, Japan.
Yep, and then eat this. And then he goes to the entrance exam, and he passes, though he is unused to his power, and he can only use it at like 100%. At 100% power, and it does a real number on his body. He has 2 broken legs from jumping once, and 1 broken arm from punching a robot. And there's kind of this whole like that becomes kind of a problem that continues through most of this season, is that the power that he has is too powerful to wield safely, basically.
Right.
So he has to learn how to instead of just like breaking an arm in order to punch something once with like a truckload of force, he has to learn how to maybe not have a truckload of force, but like a minivan of force, and like be able to focus it a little bit more.
Yeah, it's like the best way that I can describe it is like when the terminology that you're only using like a small, like, minuscule percentage of your brain for like everyday use and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Similar to that in the muscles, but like you're able to like force the control.
Right, yes.
Force the exertion of like what you're able to overload.
Yeah. Exactly. So basically he's been training and stuff, and he basically his body can only handle like 5% of the power, and I think at some point he gets up to like 8% or something. I'm not sure how they calculate that. Acclimation. Yeah, acclimation. So he like manages to sort of learn how to focus where the power comes from into like his fingers instead of his whole arm. So it's still at 100%, but it's not like sacrificing as much of his body to do it.
Right.
It's very Blood Hunter-esque.
Okay, calm down, Stilga.
Oh, yes. I fuck up others before I fuck up myself. Oh, no, wait. It was the opposite. I fucked up myself before I fuck up others.
That is so in line with your D&D character. It's insane.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay. So, so he passes the entrance exam, and they're doing basically a lot of... Oh, they meet their... kind of like their homeroom teacher who's in charge of their class.
He's so great.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Whose name is Aizawa. Aizawa. He is a surly, gruff, kind of like kind of sickly looking and constantly sleepy man whose power is erasure.
Yeah, he can erase others' quirks.
Other people's quirks, if he's looking at them, their quirk stops working. Which is pretty awesome.
Very very good to have as a teacher, might I add.
To have as a teacher, yeah, absolutely. And it also helps out with other things when there are kids who have really powerful powers that they can't really control, and you're teaching them how to. It helps to be able to just like, okay, you're getting out of control. Stop.
Oh yeah, okay, here it is. Shota Aizawa, hero name Eraserhead.
Eraserhead. It's funny though, actually, because when they're choosing their hero names, he's like, he says, "Now take this very seriously. The name you choose today might be your name for the rest of your career as a hero." And then there's a little flashback to when Aizawa was in school, and his friend Present Mike is like, what's your hero name gonna be, man? He's like, I don't know, I don't really care. He's like, what about Eraserhead? And he's like, sure, whatever. And it just remained his name forever.
Sure,
so he's like,
whatever.
Sure, whatever.
I'm just going with the flow, man.
Okay. Aizawa is one of my favorite characters. I like his vibe is just, I love it.
It relates to my millennial nonchalantness.
Yep, pretty much. And just also just sort of, even his personality is like negatory, like negating things.
It's the driest of dry
yeah,
humor,
the driest of dry
humor.
Like one of my favorite Aizawa moments was when he meets this he runs into this woman who he used to do an internship with or something, and her power is like causing laughter and stuff. She's like a jokester kind of person, and she's like, Aizawa, you should marry me. Then your life would be full of constant laughter. And he's like, that sounds like an actual nightmare.
Oh. And thus balance was restored to the world.
Yes, thus balance was restored to the world. If everyone was fun, then
I'd rather die.
The world would explode. Yep.
I'd rather die.
It sounds like a literal nightmare.
Quite so.
But yeah, so he takes no shit, but is also strangely kind at times.
It's always the quiet ones.
So, during a class trip, the students get attacked by a bunch of villains led by Tomura Shigaraki, whose quirk is decay. So he touches things, and as you can guess, it decays. Yeah. So, yeah. He touches a tree, it withers and dies. And so that's really creepy. Let's see, there's this creature that comes with the League of Villains called a Nomu, which no one knows exactly what they are. It seems like it looks like some sort of mutated person, but it seems to have multiple quirks, which is kind of rare. Like it has what does it have? It has some sort of strength thing, and it has something else, and it's just super powerful. And so all of these villains in this Nomu go up against basically this class of first years and their teacher, and then All Might shows up, and he has to kind of like finish off the guy, but it like really takes it out of him, you know. So
which caused the injury, if we're right, or
no, that.
Oh no, wait, this was later on. That's right.
Yeah.
It's what caused him to retire.
Mm-hmm.
That's
no,
right.
But not. Well, this was not that. But
oh, I'm getting my arcs mixed up.
You're getting your arcs mixed up. Yeah, basically.
This is why I don't do shonen anymore, guys.
Basically, yeah, he goes all out against this Nomu. Finally defeats it. But then immediately disappears and just collapses somewhere. Just took it all out of him, basically. Because as we are,
All Might sleepy.
As we said before, yeah, he is fading, and his power is streaming into Midoriya as we speak. So, so that's what season 1 kind of ends, is like the kids have had sort of their first brush with real villains, and they know what's out there and what they will be up against when they graduate. So,
and that's just season 1. Before you move on, that's a big thing to preface that what separates My Hero Academia from the shonen series that came before. I mentioned previously that shows such as Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece were constantly aired weekly and were not really given much breaks. My Hero Academia kind of differentiated the formula of how shonen anime is done by separating it into seasons,
right?
Which in the long run helps both the animation team to not be constantly overworked, and to allow breadth in between storylines and stuff like that to enhance the freshness of everything.
Yeah.
Because for those of you out there that did not grow up during the early 2000s, during a time where we had to watch shonen anime every single week on TV, whether you lived in original Japan or in America on Toonami or Adult Swim and stuff like that, it can be kind of taxing. So I am all for these seasonal breakups.
Yep. So
just wanted to throw that out there. Sorry, continue on.
So the sort of through lines or themes that I noticed in this season, as I said before, so the nature of power, it's your desire to help that makes you a hero, not so much how powerful you are. It's how you use your power, basically, is more important than how much power you have. There's also a lot about sort of legacy and inheritance. One for all is the power that All Might is passing on to Midoriya, and One for All gets better with each wielder. So you sort of build on what you've learned, and you go beyond your predecessors and make your inheritance your own. And that's going to come in to play later, making what your elders gave you your own. Season 2 is mostly just the sports fest, which is...
This might be one of my favorite arcs, actually. And it's for one character only, and I know we're going to talk about him.
I know
I'm
who
so
you're
excited.
About. Oh, man. So Deku can't use his quirk too much, since he can only use it at 100% so far. So there's a couple of different events in this sports festival, which is televised. There's a couple of different events, and through most of them, the first 3, he doesn't actually use his quirk, because he knows that if he uses it, he'll be out of commission for the whole rest of the competition. So he just normal stuff his way through it, using his smarts and his leadership skills, basically.
Which honestly I think is very... One, it shows Deku's best quality. And it's a quality that is often overlooked in, like, a lot of, like, the quirk, like, any character with a quirk in the show, like, it's the younger, the youngins. So,
yeah.
Good on you, Midoriya.
Yeah, like, he has to learn not to rely on his quirk. So then they eventually pair off into individual battles. Like, it kind of, there's like elimination rounds, and then it's sort of like a, what's it called when it's like a...
Like a tournament?
Yeah, like a tournament, yeah. So each of the finalists is paired off with different people, and there is, I think Midoriya makes it through like the first round against this person whose quirk is mind control. And so basically the guy, if he talks to you, if he asks you a question, if you answer a question that he asks you, then he has control over your actions, basically.
What is the velocity of a laden swallow?
I don't know. Yeah. And so basically, not knowing how the quirk works, Midoriya answers a question. And then the, I don't remember what this mind reader guy... Oh, brainwashing. That's his power. And the brainwasher basically makes him almost walk out of the ring. Like, it's kind of like a knock your opponent out of the ring kind of thing.
Right.
And he almost walks out of the ring, and then like something happens with his quirk where it causes a little explosion and it sort of jolts him out of it.
Yeah.
And then that guy is toast because his brainwashing is gone. But probably actually one of the like most powerful moments in this series, I think, is the battle between Midoriya and Todoroki.
Let's go!
Todoroki is the son of Endeavor.
My precious boy!
Who is the number 2 hero, and he is under a lot of pressure to succeed. But he's determined to do this using just his mother's ice quirk and not his father's fire. So, like, this kind of comes up at some point, and Midoriya knows about that he refuses to use his fire quirk because he doesn't want to let his father have any part of his success.
I think Todoroki actually told that to him, like, before, like, the tournament started.
Yeah. So Todoroki, his quirk is fire and ice. So one half of his body he can make ice, and the other half he can make flames. And so far he has only used the ice exclusively. It's his father whose quirk is, I think his quirk is hellfire, right? He's just like pure flame being kind of thing.
Endeavor, I believe
Endeavor
so. Yes.
is a fire being.
Flame boy.
So we get a lot of sort of backstory for Todoroki during this fight, because basically, Midoriya hasn't used his power at all, really, for the whole sports festival up until this point, and then he goes all out with it, like just basically, yeah, like destroying his hands, sending shockwaves towards Todoroki, trying to get him to like go all out against him. He's like, I don't want to win. I don't want to beat you unless you're giving me all that you've got. And and at one point, he just says, it's your quirk, yours, not his. And basically, that like, it doesn't matter that you're like him in some way. Like, you have fire too, but that doesn't mean that you're like him. You can make your fire your own and all that. And he has no claim upon it. It's totally yours. It's your quirk, and you should use it. So then Todoroki does. He uses his fire, and that's what finally allows him to beat Midoriya. And
allows him to not just beat Midoriya, but just allow him to just break through what honestly has been keeping him down and not holding him back, but refusing to allow him to grow. I think is honestly
basically,
the right
was
words.
he was stuck in this sort of like stuck in his animosity and bitterness towards his father, who was not great. He was very abusive.
Yeah, we got to go into major spoilers for this one. So,
yeah.
Todoroki's mom and his dad being Endeavor. Endeavor basically married his mom, who was an ice user, a very powerful ice user, because he wanted to sire a child that could surpass All Might.
Yep.
He's had 5 kids. One who died in a training accident, his eldest. Todoroki, Shoto was the only one to get both the fire and ice quirk. And because of how Endeavor was, it played a lot of stress on the family, and particularly Shoto's mom, which eventually caused her to accidentally burn him in a moment of... She had
a psychotic break and threw boiling water at her son. Yeah.
I was crying so much through that moment.
Because, basically, because you see that he has, like, this huge scar on half of his face, and throughout the whole thing, like, up until this point, you think, like, you've seen Endeavor and stuff, and you're like, oh, I'll bet that his dad burned him at some point, like Zuko.
Yep.
But it wasn't his dad, it was his mom. And
for those of you that don't know, like I said, there's a reason why I love Todoroki, and it's mainly because of this backstory. I'm very close with my family, particularly my mom. So I'll be honest. When I first went through this series, I never actually told you this, Hannah.
Hannah.
Sorry. Oh,
no, it's okay.
Japanese is influencing me. I had to pause. I had to stop after seeing that in the episode. I literally had to call my mom, for a few minutes, just like talk to her. I'm just like, Mom, I love you. I'm sorry. And nothing happened between us, but I just felt so... I'm just like, I need to talk to my mom right now. I felt so bad. I'm just like, I need my mom right now. Oh, man.
Art reveals truth.
Honestly, this was the second time that an anime has made me do this.
Made you call your mom specifically?
Specifically for a moment like that. Also, and there's another anime specifically for another reason, but if we ever talk about that specific anime, we'll get to it when we get to it.
Yeah. You're definitely closer to your family than I am to mine. I can't imagine... I can't imagine for any reason calling a family member like that.
It comes from a lot of past experiences, which is why, like... I'm always a person that wears, like, my emotions on my sleeve.
Right, yes. And I am not.
Todoroki also kind of wears, like, that animosity towards his dad, like, on his sleeve. Like, you see it constantly.
Yeah.
He plays things close to the chest, but he's a very emotionally driven person.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, someone who's got, like fire in them, definitely. Like, fire is, like, a very, very primal emotional element as well. But... Yeah, as the child of divorce that I am, who is often told, "Gosh, you're so much like your dad." I totally understand this as well. Like, it was never a good thing to be compared to Dad. So yeah, that was kind of where I had my connection with this character. It was just kind of like I wish I could just get rid of everything he ever gave me.
It's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
So anyway, Todoroki wins that. He goes up against Bakugo. Bakugo wants him to use his fire in their match too, but Todoroki is able to beat him without it. No, he doesn't. Todoroki doesn't use it, and Bakugo beats him. But Bakugo is not satisfied with that, because he's like, yep, you didn't go all out against me, so me beating you doesn't count. Like, he's just this little rage monster.
Like
during the award ceremony, he had to be, like, chained to the chair.
That's right.
Because he was just throwing a fit. But yeah, Firebrand. He's just, like, so over the top with rage, and oh man, The teenage anger, the angst.
I think it was really this arc in particular that really made me, like, understand, like, Bakugo's, like... We didn't get, like, the full go-through in it, but it understands, like, he is a being that is very prideful in what he does.
Yeah, his goal is to be the best.
And because he saw it as that, he viewed it for himself as taking a shortcut. And he could not accept that.
Yeah, like, yeah. He may have this really awesome quirk, but he also works really hard at it, and he's really determined.
Which also explains, like, why it ate at him so much that Midoriya saved him in the first, like, 2 episodes. Like, it ate at him.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, I think it kind of just... Yeah, it did. It ate at him for a long time.
It planted that seed of doubt until...
Yeah, like, just this jealousy kind of... Because, then, like, Midoriya makes it into UA as well, and starts to sort of surpass him even. And it's like, how does this kid who didn't have a quirk for the first, like, 15 years of his life, and now suddenly has one, and he's just excelling at it, and, like, this guy who I called good for nothing all our lives is suddenly, like, neck and neck with me. Like, how did that happen?
It kind of puts more emphasis on it when basically he gave him the nickname that basically meant good for nothing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which does result in a moment, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah.
Continue on, Hannah.
Okay. Yeah. So that fight with Midoriya and Todoroki, it's your quirk, yours, not his. Probably one of the most powerful moments in this whole season. Then the second half of this season, the second arc, is the
apprenticeship, right?
The students do their internships.
Internship,
basically
that's
like
what
for a week you shadow a hero and see what they do in the field, basically. So there's this character who we haven't really talked about yet, but Tenya Ida, whose quirk is Engine. So basically he has these engine, like, what are they called?
I'm looking it up right now. Give me a second.
Like an exhaust pipe or something. Like exhaust pipes in his shins that propel him at incredible speeds.
Oh yeah, the jet engine in his calves.
A jet engine in his calves, somehow. And actually during the sports festival, he gets a phone call that his older brother, who is a hero, was attacked and like really badly hurt by this this criminal whose name is the hero killer
Stain.
Yeah. So he hears that his brother has basically been crippled by a run-in with this hero killer, and so everyone is going off on their internships, and Ida takes a sort of subpar internship to with the sole intention of avenging his brother, and he finds the hero killer, and he literally almost gets killed, and Midoriya and Todoroki come to his rescue, and they when he gets in over his head, they help him to defeat the hero killer, and they all get a talking to for that because they really weren't allowed to use their powers outside of school.
Yeah, they got a lashing for that. Thanks, Aizawa.
Woof. Yeah, but yeah, Aizawa as well. He's like, you should not have done that. So this sort of brings up another message about the nature of power. Don't use your quirk for yourself. So basically, like, they all get hurt in different ways. Like Ida, Ida has like permanent damage in one of his arms or something because of this, and and like Midoriya gets hurt, Todoroki gets hurt, and they're all they're there after this happened, and Ida, he's the class rep, so he's like the like the Gryffindor prefect, basically. He's like,
Thanks, Percy.
yep, he's like the model student. He's that guy who he's like, you've got to be 10 minutes early to class or you're late. You know, that kind of guy who's just like constantly on the ball. He's like, form a line, everybody, form a line.
Yeah, that asshole.
Yeah, exactly. And, but that's why nobody even really saw it coming that he was going on this revenge tear because Midoriya and Uraraka actually ask him, they're like, because they know that his brother just got crippled, and they're like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yes, I'm fine." And then he goes off and on his revenge rampage, and basically he just feels really guilty about this, his search for revenge caused other people to get hurt. He's like, I was so angry I couldn't see anything else, and it made him crazy. So that was an interesting one. We got to see a little bit more of this character than just him being having a stick up his butt at school.
Gotta love it when even the side characters have depth.
Mm-hmm. Woo! Season 3, Summer Camp!
Woo!
The summer camp is interrupted by the League of Villains who are intent on kidnapping Bakugo. Deku seriously messes up his body trying to save a little kid, and then he just keeps going with 2 broken arms, just running all over the place trying to fight off all these villains and stuff.
I forgot about that.
Oh my gosh, yep. And stop. You'll destroy yourself. And literally after this event, a doctor tells him, if you keep doing stuff like that, you won't be able to move your arms anymore. So, just stop it. You're crazy, child. The League of Villains succeeds in kidnapping Bakugo, and basically, they picked him out as one of the most powerful students who might become a villain for them. And this was the moment where I started to respect Bakugo, because basically
they could have easily turned him villain.
You see, Aizawa knew that they couldn't, though, because he's such a bullheaded kid that no one's going to change his mind just like that, you know. Mm-hmm. And he basically just says fuck off to Shigaraki's recruitment pitch, which I love. I'm like, yeah, he's a bit of a firebrand asshole, but at least he treats everybody that way indiscriminately. Mm-hmm. You know, I was like, oh yeah, awesome. You know, it's like those people that you want on your side. You're like, I would not want to be this person's enemy.
Right.
Like when they're on your side, you're like, they can get anything done. And
fuck him up, Algar. Fuck him up. Sorry.
Yeah. So then we see the emergence of this villain called All for One, which is like the mirror, like the polar opposite of One for All, which was All Might's power.
All for One, have come up with the most diabolical, unforgivable plan.
And it turns out that he was behind that plot, and he's been behind the League of Villains from the start. And Shigaraki is just kind of his
apprentice.
His apprentice.
Sith Lord vibes
yeah,
here.
We thought that Shigaraki was the Emperor, but he's Kylo Ren.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so All for One comes out of the woodwork. This is the villain that All Might fought and got his debilitating injury that's causing him to deteriorate. So All for One basically has the ability to steal and pass on quirks. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like All Might's ability is to is to pass on the quirk to somebody else, and it becomes more powerful the more people it passes through.
Right.
Basically, and then All for One is just kind of like a snatching all of the powers, and so when he's so All Might shows up to basically have a showdown with him and try and get Bakugo out of there and stuff, and All for One has like a bunch of different powers. Like he loads a whole bunch of like strength quirks into one arm and just pounds him with it and stuff. And let's see, and All Might spends his last spark defeating All for One, and revealing his deteriorated form on national television. So
Yep.
he's officially retired. He's still a teacher at UA, but not working as a hero anymore. He spent it all for the cause. So after this dangerous thing happened at the summer camp, the teachers decide that they need to keep a closer eye on the students, and they want them to move into dorms on the UA campus. And they go around they basically go to each parent to sort of talk to them personally about it, which I found really cool. Like,
Bakugo's mom.
Yeah, Bakugo's mom. I'd explain so much about why he is the way he is, because she's like, I don't know. She's like very...
Just burn that shit.
Yeah, pretty much. She's just kind of a...
She is a Spitfire, and I love it.
She's a Spitfire. And then his dad is just the most mild-mannered little guy.
Yep.
And you're like, okay, I totally get it. I get why he is the way he is. Because...
Way to go, Mom.
Because, yeah. She's like, yeah, he's all full of himself because he got that super awesome quirk. He's like, shut up, you old hag. But this... Izuku's mom, though, did not want him to go to the dorms. She didn't actually want him to attend the school anymore. And for some reason, this was the scene that made me cry. I'm not sure why. When,
the note?
Not the note, no. It was just like his mom and how worried she was about him. And she was saying like, yeah, you say you're going to protect him, but ever since he started going to that school, my child keeps on getting hurt. And Midoriya is just kind of like, Mom, no, it's my fault that I keep getting hurt because they keep telling me, I keep ignoring what my teachers are telling me. It's not All Might's fault. It's mine. And the thing that I really liked about this scene was that where did it go? Basically, sort of the relationship between like teachers and students is very interesting in this show, I think, and this scene kind of shows why, basically. So Izuku's mom has doubts about this stuff. She's like, I want to pull him out of that school right now. And even though All Might basically knows that if Deku leaves the school, then he'll never be able to become the great hero he's supposed to be and everything. Midoriya goes off on his mom about it and is like, Mom's like that's crazy. No, I have to go to school. And he just is getting all mad, and then All Might is just like, young man, sit down. And then he sits down, and he's like, he basically like kind of explains things to the mom a little bit more. Basically tells him like, your son is going to be my successor, and I'm going to take very good care of him, and as long as I'm around, nothing is going to happen to him. And sort of like, so I like that like the respect between students and mentors, like the teachers ensure that kids respect their other elders, like All Might demands that Midoriya respect his mom, even though they both disagree with her.
Right.
And so he ends up being able to move to the dorms. And after that, they have a provisional hero licensing exam, which is more exciting than it sounds. Which basically means if they pass this exam, they get to use their powers in public, basically.
They get to be heroes in public. Look at them go.
Yep.
Look at them go with their trading license.
That's not really important, except like Todoroki, Fire and Ice, and Bakugo, Explosion. They both fail the exam for not so much their reasons of like their powers, but just the way that they interacted with people, which we can't really go too much into. But basically, Todoroki thought he was more over his dad than he was, and something came up that distracted him.
Yep.
Yeah, and he bombed the exam. So then
Are we
Bakugo.
favorite fight of the series?
Yeah.
Favorite fight of the series. Let's go.
Yes, the knockdown, drag out. Bakugo is basically like to Midoriya. He's just like, we need to talk about your quirk. And Bakugo is smarter than we think. He like figured it out.
This little man figured it out.
Basically, which you do not expect that this person has thoughts that he doesn't proclaim out loud immediately. Like
you bullheaded little boy, you are smarter than you think.
Yeah, so
look at this smart brain. Look at this big brain.
So he has it completely figured out, and like basically, everything goes out on the table. Bakugo is just like, I just can't stand it that you have excelled here and everything. Why did All Might choose you instead of me? I'm more powerful than you. It should have been me. And then he also says like, he also basically just like admits that he has felt like All Might losing his power was his fault because he had gotten kidnapped.
Yeah.
Because it was in the rescue attempt to save Bakugo that All Might lost his power.
Yeah, he's running high on his emotions.
Yes.
At this point.
Yeah. And so basically, like you do when you're teenagers, they decide that the best way to solve this is to just punch each other into oblivion. So they start to have this.
I know I've gotten in fights with my brother all the time for that.
This huge knockdown, drag out, no holds barred grudge match that they have in this abandoned training ground, and
All Might's there as the as a referee. I'll allow it.
Yeah, no, All Might, he interrupts them, and he, after hearing that, like, Bakugo feels that it's his fault that he lost his power, he realizes something about Bakugo that he hadn't noticed before. It's probably one of my favorite lines in the whole show, actually, is the, like he says, "It was not your fault, young Bakugo. I was always going to lose my power. You couldn't do anything to change that. You are strong, but I focused too much on your physical strength and overlooked what was important." So, it's not just about training these people to be powerful. It's training them to, like seeing to their mental and emotional needs as well as teachers. And that's another thing that I love about, like, these teachers, these mentors, when they make a mistake, they admit it.
Just to raise head talking to everybody. Guys, I'm an asshole. I fully accept that, and I take whatever consequences come my way because of it.
Yeah. So, yeah, and he apologizes. And then he and Midoriya basically tell Bakugo everything that's going on.
He's in the loop.
That's basically it for season 3. Oh, they start their work study, right?
I believe so, yeah.
That gets more in depth in season 4.
And season 4 onwards, it kind of starts to focus less on, like, Midoriya as, like, the seasons go on, which, honestly, I was actually very excited of, because the thing with Shonen, if you focus too much on, like, the main character throughout the entirety of the thing, because
it becomes sort of a one-track thing instead of like interweaving.
Yeah, when you created this world that has all these different moving parts to it, and you don't take that time to just expand upon it, then the story itself suffers.
Yep. So we meet a couple of interesting people in season 4. We meet Mirio Togata, whose quirk is permeation. He can pass through walls and pretty much anything.
Hello, Shadowcat.
Yep. He one disturbing fact about him is that his entire hero costume is made of a material that was fabricated from his own hair. So that it too can pass through walls. I'm like, what the hell?
Well, first of all, that's actually kind of genius.
Yeah, but...
Second of all, I mean, I look at it this way. Would you really want to have a kind of hero that actually wears a different kind of costume, but he phases through his costume and all of a sudden you're just looking at him naked?
I don't know, but it would make sense. But yeah, that was funny because yeah, he has a good quirk, but it's really hard to get a handle on.
That's the thing about these quirks. Like, they're powerful, but each one of them has downsides. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that's like the best thing that makes them not overpowered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's always downsides to it, and it's them working around it that kind of makes it exciting.
Yeah. Another character that we meet is Sir Night-Eye, whose quirk is foresight. He was All Might's sidekick for a while, and he...
That's right.
He saw All Might's future and what would happen to him if he kept on being a hero after he was injured by All for One.
He's like, nope.
Yep. He was like, but he said something to All Might like, if you keep on going the way you're going to fight a villain and die a unspeakably brutal death. You're like, gee, thanks. Sir Night-Eye is one of my favorites too.
He's pretty great.
Okay, one of the funniest parts of this season, I think, is Sir Night-Eye. He's like this lanky, bespectacled guy, who his power is he can see the future, and there's like different conditions that he can only see the future of certain people under certain circumstances and stuff. Like, and maybe it's just the dub as well. But at one point, he like gets hit by somebody, and like his clothes get all disheveled, and he's like ripped. This like nerd guy is ripped, you know. And in the dub, he's like, you managed to graze my body. It just like made me laugh so much. I'm like, what the hell? I was like, whoa, totally not expecting that. From Slender Man over here. Like,
got it. Jeez, I love the trope whenever like a nerdy character sometimes just goes like shirtless and it's just like buff.
Yep, yeah. Another one that I wasn't expecting in an anime was Armin from Attack on Titan. I was like, that kid is ripped too. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, oh my goodness, you can grind meat on those.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, look at that washboard.
It's like that, and then Mikasa's abs. Mikasa, cheese? Great cheese on abs?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Sorry.
Oh man, the abs in anime for days.
Indeed.
So, season 4 is mostly about them going up against this villain called Overhaul, who his power is like the only way that I can describe it is like disassembling and reassembling matter. So he'll like touch something and it'll just come apart completely, like on a cellular level, and then he can reconstruct it into something else. But he has been basically trying to find a way to eliminate quirks completely by using a bullet that is made from the blood of a little girl named Eri, whose quirk is rewind. Yep, so she can rewind things. So, like, if somebody, well, let's use an example from the show. If Midoriya uses his power at 100% and punches somebody and breaks his arm, if she is near him, if she is touching him or on his back Yoda style,
much to learn you have.
Yes, she can rewind that immediately. So basically there's this whole there's this whole plot to rescue Eri from Overhaul before he can make more of these bullets, and also before he can torture this poor little girl anymore. She's like 6.
Yep.
And they managed to get a hold of her, and that's pretty much that season was like Overhaul and Eri, and all of the kids who were doing the work study also become part of the rescue effort, which is very stressful because they're not allowed to tell anyone what's going on.
Right. Oh, and then it ends with the Endeavor fight.
Yes, does it? Is that what?
Yeah, season 4 ends with the Endeavor fight against the Nomu.
Oh, yeah, just a Nomu that is just as strong as that other one.
Yeah, if not more powerful. And Endeavor's like everybody's panicking because Endeavor is like with All Might retired, he's the only he's the top hero.
He's the de facto #1 hero. Yeah, and this Nomu can talk too. Which the other one could not. They were just like dumb, bumbling beasts.
And it never in my life in an anime before for a shonen did I see 2 characters fight and I could just literally look at the TV, point my finger, and shout at the top of my lungs and mean either one of them, "Hey, fuck that guy!"
Either one of them. Yeah.
I still do not like Endeavor. I can't help. He's trying, but I'm like,
no, I don't like
my
it.
guy, you have done so much. I'm like,
so much shit. I don't like him either.
Like
but,
his other son besides Shota, Shoto, is justified in his hatred.
Yeah.
Very justified.
And the cool thing about that, so there's that fight with the Nomu that Endeavor does, and then there is there's another internship where you can choose a hero, shadow them, and Midoriya, Bakugo, and Todoroki all shadow Endeavor.
Yikes!
Which
Awkward.
is yikes. And they get to have dinner with Todoroki's family. It's super Ako Taco.
Super Ako Taco.
Yeah, like literally one of the brothers, they're there at the table, and their dad comes in, and the brother's just like, "I'm out of here. I can't do this," and just like leaves. Yeah. And then the one sister who just wants everybody to get along it's just so sad. And Endeavor is trying to sort of patch things up between him and Todoroki, and
he's seriously trying, but it's hard.
It is, yeah. Well, when your dad was so demanding and abusive all your life, like how do you're like, oh yeah,
not to just one of his children,
yeah,
all of them.
You're just like, oh yeah, well, one of us is dead because of the way you acted, so thanks for that. And just super awkward at the family home. I believe, what was the name? The episode was called something like the miserable Todoroki family or something was how it was translated.
Let me see. Looking for it.
The hellish Todoroki family. I'll bet that's what it was.
Possibly.
But yeah, they do that with Endeavor. They run into a villain that tries to kill the Endeavor's angry son. The son is still pissed with him after he saves his life.
Understandably, one good deed does not.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, yeah, you saved my life, but still, you suck. I hate you. You know, just that entire family. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
We have this whole. We kind of flip the coin a little bit, and we go to Shigaraki's sort of backstory.
Oh yeah, we spend more time with the villains.
Yeah, they call it My Villain Academia. So Tomura Shigaraki, his quirk is decay. He's the guy who was leading the League of Villains, and he is One for All's apprentice. And we basically get to see the story of how he discovered his quirk and how he became who he was. And basically, he touches the family dog. He's really upset. He's holding the family dog. The family dog turns to ash and like comes apart.
Right.
He basically it decays in his arms. He freaks out, and like one by one, his family, when they're either trying to help him and calm him down, or they're trying to run away, he touches all of them. His entire family just like falls to his power.
Yeah.
And just, oh, yikes. And then All For One finds him, takes him under his wing, and teaches him how to use that burning anger to further his own means.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And basically he becomes more and more powerful through some medical experimentation and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, he starts to be able to make things decay without even touching them, which is horrifying. And what else happened in that season? I'm trying to remember how it ended.
Yeah, but unbelievable that season 5 is the most recent one. Like, I recently just finished it, and I still don't remember much of it.
Yeah, it was a whirlwind. Yeah, while you look that up,
Okay.
I think... Oh, did you find it?
Oh, yeah, Midoriya keeps having these dreams.
Yes! Oh my gosh! Yes, he was having dreams of the past wielders of the One for All.
The Avatar State is calling to
him. The Avatar State, pretty much. It's all of the avatars. And... I remember!
She remembered the thing!
I remember. They have a joint training battle where
that's right.
Where class 1A, which is Midoriya's class, and class 2A, they all are split into teams and then go up against each other in this sort of like almost like capture the flag, except it's capture the people. You have to capture like a certain number of the other team and put them in this jail kind of. And we get some interesting groups in this. I think Bakugo's group was really interesting because it was him. He was like his explosion power, and then these three, what they call more like utility powers. There were these two.
Yep.
There were the two Earphone Jack and Dupla Arms, who are kind of like sort of like scout sort of surveillance characters. They're able to like hear things from really far away, see things from really far away. And then there's Anna Voice, I think, who can talk to animals. And so people are kind of looking at this and they're like, oh yeah, it's just gonna be like Bakugo trying to do this all by himself because he thinks the other ones are useless and they're gonna get creamed. But they actually end up working really well together, and he makes a really good leader. And basically, like they play to his strength, which is basically just raw explosive power, and
literally,
raw explosive power. And he also basically, they watch his back, and then he watches theirs, and he prevents any of them from getting captured or even touched at all. You know, like their battle took like 2 minutes or something, which pretty awesome. And what else? Oh, the kid from the sports fest whose power was brainwashing. He transfers in, and he's using his power, which. That's a villain power if you ever saw
brainwashing. Yeah,
brainwashing. But he wants to be a hero and he wants to use it as a hero's power and having to adapt it. So he learns a little bit from Aizawa about that, because Aizawa's power, the
eraser,
erasure, is kind of the same, where you like just wipe something like blank like negate everything.
Yeah, it's a very villain power, but he wants to use it for good. Yeah.
Yeah, and so there's that. And then the basically what happens with Midoriya is that for some reason while he's in his mock battle, he suddenly manifests this new power. It's like this like green web electricity stuff.
Yep.
And basically he just can't control it, and it's like going everywhere and destroying everything.
He's raging out.
And he was just like raging out, and he couldn't control it, and everyone's like, what the hell is happening? Like, that, I've never seen that before. What is he doing? And like Uraraka is trying to calm him down and stuff, and then they get the brainwasher guy. Basically everyone who noticed this kind of like called a timeout for a second, and the brainwasher guy was just like, hey, stop it. Like, got him to stop doing that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But
very bad.
So so that was very weird. He manifested a new power, and like in the words of Aizawa right after that, when he's giving them their grades, he's like, first, Midoriya, what is going on with your quirk? You're like, I have no idea, sir.
Like, blunt, straight to the point.
Yep. What's going on with your quirk?
Look, I'm just not going to sugarcoat this, Midoriya. I need you to explain to me what the feck is going on right now.
Yep. Like, not to be a Debbie Downer about this, but you're fucked.
I'm dead.
Yeah, so he manifests this quirk, and he basically, he and All Might realize that Midoriya's iteration of the one for all quirk is like the ultimate iteration of it. Like, he's the 9th user of the power.
Right.
And so he's going to basically inherit all of the powers of the people who came before him. And there's a few that they know who they are, but others they don't.
Yep.
So that's kind of where we leave that, is like him realizing, okay, I'm gonna have to learn how to use a bunch of other quirks as well as this one.
Which is great, because just in time, the League of Villains is up to no good, and it seems that something big's on the horizon. And,
dun, dun, dun.
And that is where we left the anime for Season 5.
Yep.
Now, the manga is still ongoing, and Season 6 is confirmed to have been to be released this year.
Oh, boy.
Now, for those of you listening, me and Hannah have not read the manga.
No, I would love to, though.
I've only gotten one spoiler of the manga so far, and I will not dare to spoil it here, because I know Hannah would kill me.
I wouldn't kill you, but
You would be very angry with me.
I might put you in a triangle chokehold. So
she has been training. I know she can do this.
I have been training. I can now use 8% of my power. Yeah. Oh, since we're talking about superheroes, I think I'm not sure if we ever actually did this. It seems familiar, but Donald, if you could have a quirk or superpower, what would it be? From the show or not?
I will admit, like, I love the idea of trying to use hypnosis for like a hero-y thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know what always fascinated about me about mind control.
It's like a de-escalation tool. Kind of like, oh man, what's his name from Jessica Jones?
Oh, Killmonger? No, not Killmonger. Kilgrave.
Kilgrave, yeah. How at one point she shows him how it could be used for good, and there's this man who's like holed up in his house with a gun and his entire family, and he's going berserk, and and Kilgrave just goes in and is like, hey, put the gun down and just go outside. You're like, that was easy because he had to obey. Mm-hmm. You're like, see, you can use it for good. You just have to be really careful. Like, I think Kilgrave said something like, he was like, I once told a man to go fuck himself. I have no idea what he did, but I don't want to imagine.
Coming from the mouth of David Tennant, everybody.
Yeah.
I still think...
So, like, mind control, sort of?
That's one of them. Super speed would be an interesting kind of concept, especially in terms of a quirk. It's like, how do you build your legs with enough strength to maintain that velocity for so long? Can you only use it in, like, short bursts?
Yeah. And now, what power do you think you would have in actuality based on what kind of person you are?
I feel like I would... Something related to, like, human emotions and feelings, like an empath. That's...
Yeah.
Just like how... I'm a very caring person by nature, so I talk with people a lot. So...
Yeah. The power that I would want would be teleportation.
Yes.
But the power that I think I would have would be like a sort of... It would be one of those de-escalation powers. It would be the ability to like fill a room with a sense of calm. You know? Like I'd be the hero who goes into like disaster zones and gets people out of there and like tends to them.
Remain calm, everybody.
Like,
Form
right.
a singly orderly
Like
file out of line. I know the place is on fire. Maybe not like that.
So yeah, kind of like a slow down, chill, like sort of de-escalation kind of. My power would be the power of Zen. Let's just put it that way.
Yes.
People have told me that I have a very comforting presence.
That is true.
Isn't that right, Donald?
Yes, ma'am. That's very true.
Oh man, but yeah, that's My Hero Academia. What are we even talking for, like 2 hours? I feel like
we're close to an hour and a half.
Holy shnikey.
You've been wanting to talk about this for a while, so
I know.
So I did not want to like interrupt you or anything.
When I got
like
to
that.
about season 3, I was like, was it a good idea to go season by season like this? I have doubts. I have serious doubts.
Well, I mean, there's a reason like you were like you. Or it's one of your favorite shows, like you just said.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people have been fascinated by this show. The fandom is, of course, huge.
Oh yeah.
In both the manga and the anime.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, I have been. It's not my personal favorite, but I have enjoyed going through this anime like the past couple months, and I'm a little bit disappointed in myself that I kind of gave it the blunt end of the stick when I first started trying to watch it back in 2016 when it first started airing weekly by weekly, because I was at that point where I was like, I don't want to commit to weekly viewings right now. I have too much going. Because I was in my final year of college.
Right.
I had so much going on, I couldn't commit.
Yeah, that's what kept me from starting to watch Supernatural for the longest time, because I was like, okay, I know that I'm going to like this show, but I also know that I do not have time to watch it as obsessively as I'm going to. You know?
Fair enough.
And at that point, there were only 12 seasons, and I was like, that's a lot of seasons.
And then it expanded more, and you're
then
like,
it expanded more. Like,
oh my goodness.
My goodness.
Oh my lord.
Yep. It's like, well, a combination of insomnia and social anxiety will give you the time you need to watch all 12 seasons of Supernatural in a scarily short amount of time.
Oh man, ain't that the truth?
Oh man, it's the only good part of my life at that time.
Oh man. All right, should we wrap this up?
Yes, we should, before we say anything sad.
So overall, your personal recommendation, huge yay for My Hero?
I do recommend it, yes.
I mean, you've been building on this for months, so yeah, definitely, like, we've spent like a good hour and a half like talking over all this, even though it, like, both in terms of like overall plot and just like our personal like viewpoints and everything like that. There was so much other stuff that we didn't get to talk about, like in some of the side characters. We didn't get to talk about like Uraraka that much.
We didn't talk about Kirishima at all.
Oh, that's right. We never even touched on
Red Riot!
There are a lot of characters that we didn't touch up on, and honestly, that's kind of the thing that comes with a lot of shonen anime. There's so many different characters that people are drawn to, but you can't really say all in a single sitting.
Yeah. My mom has been watching this show. I went to visit her, and I've told you this story. I went to visit her, and I like opened the door, and I was like, "Hey, Mom, I'm here." And she like appeared out of nowhere. She's like, "I am here." And I'm
Yes.
like, "Why did you say it like that? Have you been watching My Hero Academia?" And she's like, "Yeah." "Have you?" And I was like, "Yes, I have." And she was like, "Yeah, I have some of the DVDs downstairs. I got them from the library." And I was like, "Let's go watch some."
That's so great.
I got her a Funko Pop of Kirishima for Christmas. Because that's her favorite character.
That's so great. That is such a sweet story.
It was funny though because we were the only two people in our family who knew what it was, and she like opened it up and she was like, "Oh my gosh, it's Kirishima!" And like my sister and my grandmother are like, "The heck?" Like, you're getting each other anime collectibles now? Okie doke.
Welcome to the rabbit hole.
It's like, all right, time to start searching for mental institutions.
Oh no, you're not at that point. You're not at that point yet.
Not yet.
Maybe when you guys start writing fan fiction, maybe. But I think you guys are fine now.
I think I'm fine.
You're okay.
Yep. I don't even own one Funko Pop of any kind.
Fair enough. Mm-hmm. But regardless, guys, that's going to be our talk today on My Hero Academia. Starting off Anime April 2022 with a really big episode. Not going to lie, this has been...
Whew. Yeah.
We've just been having so much fun. I just didn't want to stop you at any point, truthfully.
Oh, man. I wanted to stop myself at one point, but, you know.
Hey, pop off, Queen. Pop off. But,
It's Quirk! Pop off!
But, we're going to leave you with all that. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you guys like what you've been hearing from us, make sure to follow us wherever podcasts can be found. We're on Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, and if you want to watch all of the episodes in order in a nice detailed playlist version, you may click the link in the description of this episode to be taken to the YouTube playlist over on YouTube. So definitely...
YouTube playlist?
Yeah, I have a YouTube playlist just because...
of our episodes. I was
yes.
like... My Hero Academia is on YouTube. You can find it in so many better places, man.
No, that's true.
Our podcast is on YouTube. Okay.
Yes, our podcast is on YouTube. Sorry, it's perfectly okay. I should have reiterated that better.
Threw off your groove.
No, I'm sorry. You have thrown off the Coffee Ninja's groove.
Sorry.
You were saying? Anyway, we... You also, if you guys want to follow us on social media, you can check us out on Facebook and Twitter at Gen Geek Podcast and on Instagram at General Geekery. You can find me on social media at RyuzakiMK7. You can find Hannah on Instagram at Python Legume. You can find us both playing games on Twitch, my personal Twitch channel, RyuzakiMK7, and me and Hannah both make appearances for Loaded Dice Adventures on Mondays and Wednesdays, respectively. Whole bunch of D&D shenanigans, especially ones that happened yesterday before us recording this episode. Mm-hmm. Definitely go check them out. Always a lot of fun. Yep. And if you guys love the show and want to support us in any way, shape, or form, please consider checking out our Patreon and our Ko-fi pages. Hopefully spare a little bit of your coin in order to help us continue making content for you and entertain you in the best way possible. And speaking of entertaining you in the best way possible, if you guys want to interact with us, you can join our Discord at the General Geekery Guild. Link of that is in the description of this episode. Can't wait to chat. The GGG. Can't wait to chat with you guys and talk about all things geek related. This has been episode 112 of General Geekery, first edition of Anime April 2022, about My Hero Academia. For Hannah Kubiak, I'm Donald Kaczynski, and until next time. Should we end it with Plus Ultra?
I mean, I thought that was a given, but...
You know what? Always remember to keep your geek on.
Clank, clank.
Plus Ultra!
Go beyond!
Bye, guys.